WhenToWork's grid schedule view is designed to help you isolate just the shifts you need to see or edit. For example, let's imagine that when you have a new employee, you write first day of work in the shift description of their first training shift. If you enter that phrase into our Find field, the system will filter to just those shifts that contain that phrase. Now, what would you like to do with these shifts? You have a number of options. Check them off. You can now delete all of those shifts. Oh, but what if you realize you've made a mistake? Right at the bottom of the screen, there's a Recently Deleted Shifts link. This takes you to all the shifts deleted in the last 90 days. Simply check off those shifts and click to restore. Let's go back to our grid view. You can also bulk edit your selected shifts. Let's say that everyone coming in at 9 a.m. this week needs to come in a little early. To isolate just your shifts that have a begin time of 9 a.m., you can set the Find field for 9 a.m., and then you'll see all those shifts. Check them all off and click Bulk Edit. You can change the start time so that everyone's coming in half an hour early. Do it all at once with our Bulk Edit feature. Our system will let you know if you've caused any trouble with your large-scale edit. The newly edited shifts are highlighted in blue so that you can see them on your schedule. You can also bulk unassigned shifts. If perhaps you've made an error and assigned the wrong people to be trainers, you could simply check those off and unassign all of them. You'll notice that we have a yellow line at the top to let you know that a filter has been set. Just click on the X to close that filter. Now, let's say that you'd like to send a message to just those employees opening the store on Tuesday. We'll isolate Tuesday and then we'll click Start. Now we've sorted the shifts by start time. You can check off just those earliest start times, the 9 a.m. shifts, and we'll click Message. We can send a message to just those employees assigned to those shifts. That message goes to their WhenToWork inboxes and is forwarded to any email, push, or text notifications they've set up. Let's say that you're concerned that an employee needs a reminder. Maybe her name is Elaine Zeff. We'll enter her name in the Find field to isolate just her shifts. Check off her shifts and send a reminder. Any employee who is set up to receive emails when a new schedule is published will receive an email with their schedule for the time frame we chose. If you would like to export those shifts to your clipboard, you can paste them into another software system. The grid view has an Analyze Shifts feature. Click on this button. Our system will compare the employee's availability preferences to their shift assignments. This person has been assigned during a cannot work time. Of course, autofill would not have assigned them at that time. This shift was probably manually assigned, or the employee picked it up on their own. This feature is very handy if you make a lot of edits after autofilling your schedule, because now you'll see where those edits have caused conflicts. Finally, you can choose which columns display on this view. You can include information about your employees, as well as information about the shift itself. You'll note that in addition to the Paid Hours field, this view alone has a Total Hours field and an Unpaid Hours field. Let's look at what that means. Click on any shift to bring up a quick shift edit screen. Let's say that Vinny has an unpaid lunch hour in the middle of his shift. Rather than create two shifts, we can just keep the 8-hour shift, but we'll adjust down his paid hours so that he doesn't get paid for that extra hour. As you see, this automatically unchecks the Auto Calculate box to let you know that that number was manually entered. The paid hours is the number we entered into that field. It's the number of hours Vinny will be paid for. The total hours is the actual auto-calculated length of that shift, and the unpaid hours is the difference between the two. The 1 hour Vinny's not paid because he's at lunch. Now, when we show those columns on the graph view and we look for Vinny, we see that shift right here. Vinny has an 8-hour shift on the schedule, but his paid hours are only 7, leaving 1 hour unpaid. This is a very helpful feature for organizations with unpaid lunches or breaks. And of course, this view has a few features that all of our views share. Click on Schedule History to see all of the major edits that have happened to this week's schedule. Import, autofill, publish, unpublish. Everything that's happened in the last 90 days is listed here, along with a timestamp and the name of the manager who's done it. So if one day you find that your schedule is mysteriously unpublished, this is where you'll check to see what happened. And of course, we have our status icon filter, our category filter, and our positions filter. At the bottom are the schedule notes, where you can add notes that employees or managers will see when they look at the week.